May I ask one more quick question? To what degree do we have, if any, biological requirements for supporting being in the vortex? Water, food, the quality of it or lack of quality of it?
Well, there are some, and because you are comprised of trillions of cellular consciousnesses who are advocating for their own well-being. So they are asking for what they want and need to thrive. And when you are in alignment, you are receptive to that, and you just naturally gravitate to the things that help them to thrive. Your body is a veritable chemical factory as well. And so this cellular machine that is you is producing whatever it needs and asking for the ingredients from wherever. And so the happier you are, and the more you're following your natural inclinations that feel good, not guiding yourself from what you shouldn't do, but guiding yourself from what feels good, in time, you'll find yourself fulfilling those requirements. But rather than the word requirement, we want to use the word request, because the cells of your body are so flexible. They are so adaptable. They are so in sync, and there are so many of them, and they can borrow from each other, and they can give to each other. In other words, the community that makes up your physical body is extraordinary, you see. And so if you could just mind your own business and stay out of the way of that, in other words, just be happy and let your body do what it does. Do you ever feel the impulse? You get in your beautiful car. Do you ever feel the impulse, I better get under the hood and be part of the engine? It might need me. Or do you just get behind the wheel and do the part that you do? And so once you are caring about how you feel and tending to the things that don't feel good by looking for things that do, we started to say earlier in our conversation that in this attraction-based universe, there's no exclusion. So it isn't that we want you to not think about that, it's that we want you to think about that. So once you get the hang of thinking about what feels good more and more and more, the issues of your world come into alignment. What begins to happen is you just hold yourself in this chronic place of inspiration, which we really want to talk to you about. Because speaking of turning thoughts to things, or vibrations to thoughts and thoughts to things, this is all about your translation process, isn't it? It's all about your realization process. So how do things manifest anywhere? Where'd this stuff come from? Is it being trucked in from other planets? It isn't, is it? In other words, how's it manifesting? How are you realizing what you're realizing? Well, it's a vibrational interpretation that is becoming this perception that you have. We know it's when you're born into reality, it's not the easiest thing to understand how it got there. But we want you to understand that things are changing because of your attention to them. So as this vibrations are turning to thoughts, and thoughts are turning to things, the emphasis that we want to place is upon your realization. So we want to talk about the manifesting process. What is the process of manifesting? Well, really, the very first manifestational evidence that you receive about your mix of thoughts, which is what you are creating, that's your mixing bowl, are the emotions that you feel. An emotion, what could be more manifested than something that you feel so powerfully? And when you think about it, just a little aside, everything that you or anyone wants or has ever wanted, you want because you believe you will feel better in the having of it. Whether it's a pile of money or a material object or an event or a circumstance or a relationship, everything that you want is because you think you will feel better. Well, when you think about it in the way that we're presenting it to you here, one of the first things that manifests is the emotion that helps you to understand your vibrational content. The next thing that manifests is thought. Now, we want to be very vibrationally accurate. You have a thought and then you have an emotional response to it. So really the thought and the emotion are happening simultaneously. But we want you to notice first the emotion and then put the emphasis upon the thought that has caused the emotion. It'll be a really good way for you to perpetuate this momentum because more momentum, then it easier it is for you to continue this thought. So when you are in that vibrational place where your vortex is in this high, pure vibration, and you are too, for whatever reason, maybe you meditated, maybe you had a massage, maybe you've been appreciating someone, maybe you just woke up and haven't done anything to pull yourself down yet. In other words, maybe you haven't done that thing you do that diminishes your vibrational frequency. So here you are, your vibrational frequency and that of your source and that of your vortex is all the same. And so now you begin to be the realizer of the sameness. So you just feel good. You feel good. And the thoughts that begin to waft into your mind, the thoughts that you begin to perceive because you're in the vibrational vicinity, and so you can easily translate them, as Esther is doing right now with our vibration. As those thoughts are flowing into your mind, acknowledge that you are the translator of those thoughts. As you begin to deliberately acknowledge that you are tuned into who you are and what thoughts are coming, what you'll begin to notice is, Esther's been doing this a lot lately. She's been telling anyone who will stand around and listen to her, I'm acting on my impulses a lot. I'm no longer writing it down as something to tend to later. She's doing her best that when an impulse comes, when she thinks of someone, that's the time to call them. When she thinks of something, that's the time to put it in the suitcase. When she thinks of something, she went to a house in another city with a car parked in her garage, and when she got there, she didn't have the keys to the car in the garage in the other city. And she thought, I thought about that over and over and over and over and over again. And instead of acting on it, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. So if you get so that you're tuned in more and more and more, and knowing that you are, and consciously acknowledging that you're translating the vibration of alignment into tangible, perceivable experiences of well-being, then the thought process that begins to flow. So what we're getting at is, this is the way. The cells of your body have been launching rockets of desire into the vortex too. Your cells have created a vibrational version of you. Oh, which you are not helping them live sometimes. But when you're tuned in, when you're feeling good, when you're using every excuse that you can to feel good, when you're feeling good and then you're following the impulse, you're acting on the impulse, it's our promise to you. You're going to give them what they want. You're going to give them what they want when they want it. You're going to find yourself as this vital, efficient, good feeling, tuned in, tapped in, turned on extension of source energy. You are translations of source energy. And the way you feel and how it's turning out is the evidence of what kind of communication you got going on, you see.
Thank you so much.
You never get in your car, set the radio dial on a station that you don't like, and then demand that they play the songs you want to hear. I've been listening to you all day, and all I'm getting, Spanish stuff, Spanish. I'd like something in English, please, and something popular. You don't demand, you tune. You tune to the frequency that allows you the receiving of what you're looking for. Oh, and you live in the most diverse, magnificent, leading edge environment to create with precision and detail the specifics of everything that you want. This is co-creation at its best, and you knew it when you came. Good?
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Really good.